Picture a fiber optic cable being physically snipped right in half. When we're talking about true hardware-level network vulnerabilities, software firewalls, they're basically just suggestions. A sophisticated zero-day exploit can punch right through them without leaving a single trace. If you're protecting highly sensitive infrastructure, you need absolute physical guarantees. Now, enterprise data diodes, devices engineered to only let data flow in one single direction, often cost $5,000 or more. That completely prices out independent researchers and home lab builders. But today, we're going to build that exact same physical layer security for exactly $97.50. It's a one-way street governed by the universe itself. Data goes in, but physics ensures it never comes out.
So here is the visual payoff for what we're building. The transmit, or TX port, on the receiving media converter is actually physically taped over and permanently disabled. You can run literally any penetration test you want against this setup. But if you connect a leak test terminal on the other side of the barrier, it's going to register a 100% failure rate, period. Because the physical path back to the origin simply no longer exists, data cannot travel backward. It doesn't matter what kind of malicious payload or advanced persistent threat an attacker throws at it. You are mathematically and physically isolated. And this brings us to the massive value proposition of this project. Commercial cross-domain solutions. The exact kind of high-assurance hardware used in classified government networks or critical industrial control systems are outrageously expensive. They're proprietary, they're heavily regulated, and like I mentioned, they usually start at a massive $5,000. But by utilizing standard off-the-shelf networking components, we can achieve that exact same military-grade architecture at an incredibly affordable price point. We're democratizing physical layer security here, turning enterprise-level isolation into something you can literally deploy over a weekend.
Let's rapidly run through this bill of materials so I can prove exactly how we hit that sub-$100 mark. We're using 2 TP-Link media converters for roughly $60, a passive optical splitter for $9, 2 basic USB network interface cards, and some standard Cat6 cables alongside a roll of PVC tape. That's the whole shebang. Now, the brilliant secret here is the fiber optic configuration. Specifically, we are exploiting the L in LC-LC fiber cables. Standard networking uses duplex fiber, right? One strand for sending, one for receiving. By physically separating those duplex strands, we completely sever the return path, creating a strict, uncompromising one-way link.
At the very heart of this build is a concept called simplex transmission. Simply put, it's a communication channel that sends information in one direction only. Think of it like a one-way plumbing valve, where water can only push forward and physically cannot flow backward, no matter how much pressure is applied. This is the core mechanism of our physical hack. It's not some complex software rule that can be bypassed by clever code, a misconfigured router, or a missed OS patch. It is strictly enforced by the literal laws of physics. Light is only traveling one way and, well, you can't hack a severed cable.
But actually building this introduces a pretty fundamental problem. Standard Ethernet protocol expects a two-way street. If you just cut the return fiber strand, the sender's network interface instantly shuts down because it doesn't detect a carrier signal from the other side. It just assumes the cable is unplugged. So how do we trick the state machine? Well, we take the sender's transmit signal and route it directly into our optical splitter. One output from that splitter travels across the physical gap to the receiver. But crucially, we take the second output and loop it right back into the sender's own receive port. The sender sees its own like, assumes the link is perfectly healthy, and starts blindly firing data across the physical gap.
There is one more absolutely vital hardware step to keep this connection alive. Standard media converters have an internal failsafe called Link Fault Pass-Through, or LFPT for short. These devices will aggressively shut down their copper Ethernet ports if they think the optical fiber link is broken. And because our setup is completely asymmetric, it looks exactly like a permanent failure to the receiving side. The elegant solution here requires absolutely no software. We just flip the hardware LFPT dip switches, located directly on the media converters, to the off position. This beautifully decouples the copper and fiber link states, completely ignoring the broken return path and forcing the ports to stay open.
Building a $5,000 security tool for under $100 is the core mission of this channel. If this kind of security ROI is valuable to your home lab, your small business, or your workspace, please hit the subscribe button and join the CyberTips community. It's truly the best way to support these in-depth, professional, technical builds so we can keep reverse engineering expensive security standards and making them accessible for everyone.
All right, let's move over to the network logic. Standard TCP completely crashes against a data diode. As you know, the TCP protocol demands a continuous three-way conversation, a SYN, a SYNAC, and an ACK handshake, just to verify that a single piece of data was successfully received. But remember the physics of our build. We have absolutely zero return path for that acknowledgement. The sender will literally just wait forever. Therefore, we have to rely entirely on UDP. UDP succeeds brilliantly here because it allows for blind, connectionless broadcasting. We don't need a handshake. We simply package the data, throw it over the wall at the speed of light, and hope it lands.
Now, because UDP doesn't natively guarantee delivery, we need specialized software to prevent packet loss during this blind transport. Thankfully, there are a few excellent open-source options tailored perfectly for this hardware. First up is pydiode, which uses temporal redundancy, meaning it just sends the exact same data blocks multiple times to ensure they arrive, hitting speeds up to 40 megabytes per second. Then there's UDPcast, a super efficient C-based tool utilizing forward error correction. Think of this like adding extra mathematical puzzle pieces to the data stream. If random packets get dropped in transit, the receiver has enough extra pieces to reconstruct the missing parts without ever needing to ask the sender to retransmit. Finally, there's Diode, a robust framework that seamlessly manages UDPcast. By the way, if you've used a different protocol for unidirectional air gaps, drop a comment below. I really want to see your setup.
To actually run this routing software, we need dedicated host nodes. We're using a pair of completely locked-down Raspberry Pis acting as gatekeepers. Here's exactly how we configure the underlying operating system. First, assign strict static IP addresses. Standard DHCP cannot function here because leasing an IP requires a two-way handshake with a router. Second, you must force the network interface to a constant 1,000 megabits per second, full duplex. Third, completely disable Ethernet auto-negotiation using command line tools like EtherTool or NMCLI. By executing these specific steps, you effectively lock the Raspberry Pi network interfaces into a permanent blind broadcast state, so they stop searching for a non-existent two-way link. There's also a critical kernel tweak required to ensure absolute stability under heavy load. You have to optimize your Linux socket buffers by setting net.core.rmmmax to roughly 26 megabytes. If you skip this, transient CPU spikes during high-speed UDP transfers will completely overwhelm the default buffers, causing massive, unrecoverable packet drops. The data just hits a wall. Setting this specific kernel parameter is a small but absolutely vital detail that ensures total reliability across the diode, allowing you to stream large files, continuous logs, or even video feeds without dropping a single frame. Okay, once the hardware loopbacks and kernel tweaks are seamlessly combined, the physical build moves from raw networking components strewn across a desk to a fully enclosed operational silicon vault. By securely housing the TP-Link media converters, the passive optical splitters, and those delicate fiber cables inside a clean, organized, and tamper-evident enclosure, we create a secure physical perimeter. This essentially boxes up our optical barrier, making it rugged enough to sit quietly on a server rack while it silently enforces our physical security protocols. 0. That is the exact probability of data leaking back through this diode. By physically removing the return path of the fiber optic cable, we have achieved a verified zero egress status. This is the holy grail of high-assurance security. If an advanced attacker manages to completely compromise the receiving side of this network, they are entirely trapped. They have absolutely zero physical path to send malicious payloads, issue command and control instructions, or exfiltrate sensitive data back to the secure sender. The attacker is essentially just screaming into the void.
And replacing traditional copper Ethernet cables with an optical gap provides an incredible, often overlooked secondary benefit: galvanic isolation. This refers to the complete physical separation of electrical circuits to prevent any current from flowing between them. Because fiber uses light instead of electricity, it completely eliminates common ground vulnerabilities, giving us total electrical separation from the surrounding network infrastructure. This means we're actually defending our secured hardware against everything from catastrophic power grid surges and EMPs to highly exotic electrical side-channel attacks designed to monitor voltage fluctuations.
Let's look at a fascinating real-world application of this exact architecture. Imagine using air-gapped integrity to protect high-risk messaging from advanced, state-sponsored spyware. An internet-connected phone receives a highly sensitive encrypted message, but the private decryption key only lives on a completely isolated offline device sitting safely behind our DIY data diode. The encrypted data is pushed blindly over the diode to be decrypted safely in the vault. Even if that internet-facing phone gets completely compromised by sophisticated zero-click spyware like Pegasus, the attacker is completely helpless. They physically cannot traverse back across the diode to steal the private key or read the plain text messages.
So to summarize this entire build, we have successfully engineered an impenetrable vault. We have established a verified simplex transmission architecture utilizing optical splitters and loopbacks. We have secured total, hardware-enforced air-gap integrity that protects our most sensitive data. And because absolutely no software bug, zero-day exploit, or misconfiguration can bridge a missing physical connection, this is the ultimate zero-day mitigation against software exploits. Best of all, we took a proprietary $5,000 enterprise security standard and replicated it perfectly for exactly $97.50.
Know someone running a local AI agent feeding on sensitive data? Or maybe a friend keeping crypto on a vulnerable cold wallet? Share this build with them. True. High assurance physical layer security shouldn't just be reserved for classified government facilities, nuclear power plants, and massive enterprise servers. Security is a team sport, and open source hardware democratizes protection. So the only question left is, how will you use this impenetrable hardware architecture to lock down your most critical data?